In in just 1 month, three analysts have initiated coverage of Adicet Bio Inc. stock, ACET, and another three have also gone ahead to review their coverage. The other three are Credit Suisse. No, is it Credit Suisse? No, sorry, it's Charles Schwab and CFRA. Charles Schwab, Reuters, and CFRA. And then CFRA has a quantitative report concerning the stock. It says here its sector is healthcare, industry is biotech, and the business summary is that Adicet Bio Inc., a biotechnology company, discovers and develops allogeneic gamma delta T cell therapies for cancer and other diseases. The company offers gamma delta T cells engineered with chimeric antigen receptors and T cell receptor-like antibodies to enhance selective tumor targeting and much more. So the quantitative model drivers are valuation, which is neutral, quality negative, growth positive, financial health negative. So street sentiment positive, momentum is price momentum is also positive. I think they're saying that down here the risk of valuation is a moderate one, and they're saying here that their model ranking commentary is that ACET's buy recommendation. It has a buy recommendation. You see it up here. It says that recommendation is a buy. So it says the buy recommendation is based on its score from their quantitative model for the United States. Growth and valuation model subcategories are the two largest drivers of SACET's buy recommendation. So that's the growth and valuation model. Okay, growth, positive, valuation. So these two, valuation, neutral, and growth, they are two key drivers. And even though they didn't mention street sentiment and price momentum, they're not as important as these other quantities or models. Yeah, they're not as important as them. So growth includes the factors that measure earnings per share growth and stability, and cash flow growth stability. Valuation includes factors such as price to earnings, price to EBITDA, and price to cash flow. So ACET's overall score ranked in the 26th percentile of all stocks in the model universe. Okay, so that's their quantitative model, quantitative report. So we going back to the chart technically, we have noticed that since I think mid to late August of last year, 2021, the stock started to rally, and then the underlying trend then, as at exactly 19th of August, the underlying trend was a bearish one. You can see that up here, the underlying trend, which is underlined by the 200-day moving average, was a bearish one. And then it continued, just the rally ensued, continued relentlessly, until it reached this high of 52-week high of 18.33 as of sometime early this year, 2022. Then that underlying trend, as at that time, as a matter of fact, the underlying trend suddenly halted its decline. It's halted its decline as at the 6th of December 2021. It stopped declining, and since that time has leveled off and has now started to move upwards. So the underlying trend is a bullish one. So what we also noticed that when it spiked from the 3rd of December, it never fell below its moving averages for at least more than 1 month. Never fell below any of its moving averages on this 1 year chart for 1 month, and it's now cooled off. So the pattern now is that after that we noticed that it now had up to 6 at some point. sometime in early this month as well, ran up 6 consecutive days of gains, you know, and then fell below its 50-day moving average. So now the rally, its upward push is now much shorter, much shorter. We have here as of the 15th, or from the 15th of March. The push now shorter. Far less days. Up to like just 3 days of 3 consecutive days of rallies. You know, but they when with that 3 consecutive days of rallies, it never fell. It hasn't fallen below any of its moving average. So what we have also noticed, as you can equally see, is that the highs are getting higher and the lows are also getting higher. These are bullish signals. Bullish signals. You can see that this is the low now. Fell and did not fall below its at least 10-day moving average. And here again as well, it closed lower, which for this session of the 22nd, 23rd of March, way higher above its 10-day moving average. So those are bullish signals, but at the same time as well, it's currently trading at a premium to all those moving averages. So these are the things you have to also bear in mind. What this indicates is that the stock is likely to have resumed its upward trend. This trend was in place, at least for sure, as of early to mid January of this year, 2022. So it seems it may have continued its upward trajectory, upward trend. So that's what we're looking at there. So we now have, based on what we have done so far, we have a target of 19.67. It has a prospect of getting there within one month, but there's no guarantee it's going to get there, since the last 1 year it has not gotten there. It hasn't reached 19.67. Intraday it may have. We haven't checked the data. We don't have that data. So but at the same time, we have a good number of supports, a lot of them. But we also have the Fibonacci ones. So the closest Fibonacci support is at 13.80, and then one thereafter is at 12.36. Outside that, there are a couple of other supports from its moving averages. This one, where the moving average is currently now, is at 14.87. That's the 10-day moving average. There's also one at 13.995, where the 20-day moving average is, and a couple of other supports where it got support, historically, previously. So what we know for sure is that the stock has a relatively small, to some extent, 22.94 million shares outstanding. Short interest is at 3.89. So moving down, we can see what's going on. Price of change is indicating that yes, the stock is accelerating. It's definitely doing so. The unbalanced indicator definitely has a positive slope, and MACD histogram is above zero and rising. The 14-period slow stochastic oscillator is indicating that the stock is overbought. MACD is clearly above its signal line and extending. RSI is indicating that buyers are definitely more in control, but it's also a modest one. It's not indicating an overbought situation. As a matter of fact, it has never really been overbought in the last 52 weeks, apart from sometime a couple of sessions. Maybe that might be. Let's see whether that was in January when it ran up that huge spike. I think it is. Yes, it is. That was when the RSI indicated that buyers have a resounding control of things. But at the same time, accumulation also declined. So let's see what's going on here with this readout. It says easily it appears to be in a strong bullish trend. It's 200-day moving average upward sloping, and the MACD histogram is above zero. It's also outperforming the S&P 500. Momentum is strongly bullish. The 14-period slow stochastic oscillator is above 80, the level which many analysts call overbought. This means that investors have been actively purchasing ACET stock and driving the price higher, which is evidently clear. The volume for this session, the 23rd of March 2022, was lighter than usual, trading 148,186 shares versus an average of 424,119 shares per day during the last 12 months. The unbalanced volume indicator is bullish. The slope of the indicator is positive and suggests that buyers are presently more active than sellers. So buyers are more active than sellers, and they have also been paying high prices for the stock, and also driving the price higher. So I don't know if you've noticed something. The shares outstanding, the shares floated, you can see that shares floated is 22.94 million. And look at what we have. Average volume for the last 90 days, not up to 1 million. And the last 10 trading sessions, 576,000. For the last 12 months, 424,000. Today, the 23rd of March, 148,000. This is an indication that the level of participation is a very low one. This is probably where maybe institutional investors are, gradually picking up the stock, or trading, or just maybe it's not well known to a lot of recent retail investors. You can see that 78% are held by institutions. So maybe it's, yes, clearly they are held by institutions, but what is absolutely evident is that it's not popular, not really popular. If not, we wouldn't have this sort of volumes we have at the moment. It will definitely be at least in the millions. There are 22 million shares floated, even though not all of them may be available. But what is certain is that it's just a handful of investors that have been playing the stock, that have been buying and selling the stock. At the same time as well, also we from what we can see from the chart of the stock, it looks like you can see there what looks like sharp retracements and sharp spikes. Usually it's when short trading is involved, and going by the fact that we have a very small amount of shares that have been trading, the average volume is a very small one, not up to a million. It's also an indication that, or rather, if you look at it, the short percent of float is only 3.86, which makes sense because only a small fraction of the shares have been trading, and then you can see that also it has also declined by 38%. The stock is strongly bullish, so you would expect that the short positions the short sellers may be scampering to cover their positions. So let's also have a look and see what Naked Short Report has to indicate concerning the short figures of the stock. Let's see. ACET. Okay, volumes, short volumes is 35,000. So you see, yeah, so it makes a lot of sense, It makes a lot of sense. So you can see what we're talking about here. So short sellers are definitely involved. These are relatively high, even 20% of an average daily volume. That's significant. Not very long ago, the 16th of March, 73.21% of the volume of the entire shares that were traded were sold short. So yes. So it is the short sellers are just making the most of what is available to them. So not a lot of stock have been traded. Not a lot of the level of participation is not that high. So meaning that there are not very many buyers and there are not very many sellers. That's why probably we just have those average volumes concerning the stock. So our target is, as I indicated earlier on, 19.67. Okay, so see what you make of ACET stock, and thank you very much for watching this video.